For that, 20 states of local emergency and 4 band council resolutions in Alberta as we speak. You heard the minister also there talk about the number of applications that have been made for financial assistance. If you're out of your home for 7 consecutive days, at least 7 consecutive days, you are eligible to receive, for a family of 4, I think it's about $3,500 in financial aid. So far, he said 6,500 applications and more than $2 million in e-transfers have already been dispersed. If you go to the Alberta government's website and you need that help, you can apply through there, and there are ways if you are not online to apply as well. You also heard the minister talk about the federal government's assistance here, and in particular the fact that the military is heading in. To talk a little bit more about what that looks like and how it will happen, I'm joined now by Associate Finance Minister and Alberta MP Randy Boissonnault. Minister Boissonnault, good to see you. Thank you very much for making the time.
My pleasure, Vassy.
So we know the military is going in. Can you be specific about what they'll be doing and how many of them are headed there?
So Minister Ellis stated it pretty clearly, and Minister Ellis and Minister Blair and myself and my counterparts in the provincial government have been watching things closely and corresponding and communicating for many days now. But that's 300 CAF personnel, so Canadian Armed Forces personnel, that are going to be deployed to Grand Prairie, to Drayton Valley, and to Fox Creek, and the full range of activities that Minister Ellis mentioned and that Minister Blair and I mentioned this morning are part of it. So it's engineering and logistics support. It is firefighters, fire suppression. It's also mop up and clean up in certain communities, but it's also the CAF heavy lift air support ready to provide help with evacuations, and also fire suppression equipment. And so, Vassy, this is the CAF is important, but so is the whole of government approach that we are taking. So Indigenous Services of Canada has been working very closely with Indigenous communities since the fires broke out. Innovation, Science and Economic Development, my department, along with Minister Champagne and others, is making sure that telecommunications service stays in place so that people can stay connected. And then, of course, we have the emergency supply stockpile from Public Health Agency Canada has been opened up, and public procurement, Public Services and Procurement Canada is also providing procurement and helping communities and the provincial government get the supplies they need. So it's a whole government approach to make sure that Albertans stay safe and that we work together to get through these fires.
And Minister, I have some more questions based on the details you just provided in a second, but
sure.
I also just wanted to ask you, as someone who is from Alberta and who obviously knows a lot of people there, who's based in Alberta, how worried are you about the next few days?
Look, I'm going home tonight, Vassy, right after this interview, and it's going to be 29, 30 degrees for several days, and the high winds. And look, we've seen that some of these fires, when they go down, they get deep into the substructure of the forest, and they can pop up in other places. So Canadians' support has been heartwarming, but Albertans need to stay at the ready, and that's why the collaboration that we've had with the government of Alberta, with our government, is really important. And I'm going to get a really good sense when I'm home over the next few days of just exactly, how this is on people's minds, what's the smoke like in the air. But I can say this, that Albertans have opened their homes to their friends and their families. The cities have been remarkable. We've had, High Prairie, Edmonton, Calgary municipalities open up evacuation centers. The Red Cross, which is our partner as a federal government in disasters of this scale across the country, has stepped up. And the announcement today of the matching dollars, I'm making an appeal so that Albertans and Canadians who want to support Albertans in this time, every dollar that they put on the table, the province is going to match, we're going to match. So it's going to be a 3-to-1 impact right on the ground, and all of that money goes to people who have been facing evacuations and need that support in these trying times.
Is there a predetermined length of time that the military will be there, or is it as long as needed? And I ask kind of against the backdrop of so many of the conversations we've had at the federal level about how strained the resources in the military already are. Not to say that they, in any way that they shouldn't be there. For sure they should. But does that impose any kind of time limit or constraints on their ability to stay for as long as necessary?
Not at all. The Canadian Armed Forces are there to respond when the call comes in, and the request for assistance has come from Alberta. The federal government is responding, and the military personnel will be deployed as is needed and as long as it's needed to help Albertans get through this disaster season. I mean, we've seen forest fires before, Vassy, but nothing quite at this scale, nothing this early in the season. And I've seen the map of the province, and we're talking about over 85% of the province in dark red, like tinderbox conditions. And so we need Albertans to, do right, respect the fire ban, but also, reach out and support their community members. And in the case of our Canadian Armed Forces personnel, they will be on the ground as long as Alberta needs them to be.
Is there any possibility that more of them will be required based on exactly what you just said? Because that map also struck me. I've been covering it all week as well. I also spent a lot of time in Alberta. People,
yes, you did.
I'm sure many people outside of the province aren't aware of how vast the province really is geographically, and the fact that those fires are littered, literally, the out-of-control ones especially, all over the province has made it a real challenge for the amount of firefighters there. I was speaking to one individual this week, one woman who stayed back even though she was supposed to be evacuated because they had no help from firefighters. They weren't blaming them, but they were, they had a ranch. They didn't want to lose their entire livelihood. Are there more resources available if asked?
Absolutely. If the province of Alberta needs more resources, they will get those resources. That's why we have this agreement in place. And look, we're all Canadians, Vassy. We helped at Fiona. We helped when the Calgary had the floods. We helped in BC when the floods took place. Albertans need Canada's help right now, and we're leaning in. We're going to make sure that that help is there. That support is critical. And the other thing is that officials are literally meeting throughout the day. Like the Government Ops Center is a Fed-Prov joint center. I saw the center during the Fort McMurray fires. It is clockwork. Everybody has a station. They have a desk. They have a computer. They're highly coordinated. Updates come in all the time. And when we're talking about 300 personnel deployed, every single one of those CAF personnel has a specific role, a specific set of tasks. They're going to accomplish those tasks. And as more personnel is needed, the Department of National Defence and our entire government stands by to provide those resources to Albertans.
Minister Boissonnault, I'll leave it there. Safe trip back, and our thoughts are with everyone in Alberta this evening and into this weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, Vassy.